Widows and orphans were among the most vulnerable of all God's people, and both Old Testament prophets and New Testament apostles insisted that these people be properly cared for. So understand that the widow was used as an example because it is a mindset that both the apostles and the prophets say, care for these widows, care for these orphans. And so God is showing you that even an unjust judge would take care of a widow. What makes you think he's not going to take care of you? What makes you think you're not going to be in his care, on his mind? Okay. If godless judges respond to constant pressure, how much more will a great and loving God respond to us? Persistent prayer keeps us in communication with God, helps us keep our requests in perspective, makes us consider what we really want God to do, and helps us recognize the answer when it comes. That's the key thing. It allows our spiritual eyes to be regulated. This is something that God revealed to me. It allows our spiritual eyes to be regulated and see through the lens of truth and faith. So prayer prompts our spiritual eyes to see truth. Prayer regulates and prompts our eyes to see through faith. We walk by faith and not by sight. That's how we can walk through faith and not by sight, because it prompts us to, it's like when you go to the eye doctor, and they started to shift lenses so they can tell if you can see better or worse. Better or worse. Is this better or that better? Prayer helps regulate these lenses so that way we can see through truth instead of deception and lies. Because people who make decisions based on what they see and it's deception and lies, guess what? They would have not made that decision had they seen the truth. So prayer allows us in this deception atmosphere, deception arenas, to see truth. When someone's giving you, saying one thing to you, guess what? You don't see that. You see the actual truth. Okay. If we know God loves us, we can believe he will hear our cries for help. Christians are not to grow weary in waiting for the Lord, but they are to persevere in faith. Remember, it is impossible to please God without faith. It is impossible to please him. But we have to use the tools to keep our faith going, and prayer is one of those. Because you can say, God, help my unbelief. Okay. That prayer, not seeing manifestation, does not mean that your prayer has not been answered. I want to make sure that there's the distinction of that. Because you can pray and your prayer has been answered, but you don't see the manifestation yet. Because literally the first prayer you have about something, it could be answered. So what you need to wait on is the resilience and the patience to wait on the manifestation of such prayer. Because like we were just discussing, delaying does not necessarily mean that God is not doing. It just means you may not be ready for what it is that you're praying for. And that's why I love the fact that prayer changes our position. It moves us closer or it moves us back. And if it moves us back, that's because there's a perspective that's supposed to change. It moves us closer or it moves us back. And if it moves us closer, that means you're closer to manifestation.